With us right now, Heather Chapman. Heather, you are a holistic business and well, I'm sorry, I'll let you explain your title.
I'm a holistic and performance business coach. So I help
what
people,
I meant to say. Yes.
themselves and their business.
Terrific. All right. And so from a high level, what does that mean?
So what does that mean? It means we work on you and not just your business. So we work on skill set, mindset, and high performance habits, because the truth is most people are using Band-Aid solutions and not actually getting to the root cause, whether it's in their business or in their wellness or particularly in their awareness, right? So a lot of times it's actually our self-concept that is stopping the growth of the business, not the skill set. So we really try to work on all areas in the business, but also on the person themselves. So not only do they reach full potential in their business, but in all areas of their life.
I like it. All right. Your website is Own It Empire. Where does that name come from?
So I've always wanted to build an empire. So hence I'm building my empire now, and I'm all about owning it. And owning it means taking full responsibility for your life and your results. Because the truth is, anything that's in our life, we've attracted. Anything that's in our life we thought about once, it's always created in the imagination first and then shows up in our reality. And so we really want to begin to take responsibility for everything that's showing up, and then we grow and learn from there instead of blaming, because there's nowhere to go from a place of disempowerment.
Yeah. So let's talk about that for just a moment. So in terms of the success or failure of a business, it's been said many times, Tony Robbins talks about that, 95% of the success or failure of the business is going to come down to the psychology of the business owner. Is that kind of your experience?
So I've studied all of Bob Proctor's programs, and I love what he does. And the human potential and performance coaching is essential, but it wasn't actually until I hired a business coach and gained the proper skill set did I see the quantum leaps in my results, because I actually could take the right actions and grow. So I know that saying, but I don't believe it's totally true. I do believe you need both, because I did the mindset work, but didn't have the skill set work, and it wasn't working. And then once I combined them all together, that's when we got the quantum leap. So I think you actually need to make sure that you're taking care of both. And that's why we also cover the high performance habits, because we are a multitude of habits, which is our paradigms and our conditioning. So we really need to also work on that self-concept and that creation. So there's the mindset work, but then there's the self growth work within actually growing your conditioning, your paradigms, changing who you are. There's a lot more to it than people understand. And it's just not taught in schools, right? So there's that mindset component that's important, but if you don't have that skill set, it really doesn't work.
Yeah, for sure. So what I like is I found kind of a checklist or how the holistic path to success goes. And step number one is to reverse engineer your big, hairy, audacious goal. So how do we do that? Like if we say, listen, I want to be financially independent. I don't want to have to work. I just want passive revenue. That would be one, for example, right? And being able to travel the world, is that, have you heard that goal before?
Absolutely. So financial freedom is most people's big, hairy, audacious goal. But the truth is most people don't know what financial freedom means to them. And when we can create clarity around our goals, we can actually manifest and create much faster. And what most people do is they create from their current results and circumstances instead of starting with the end in mind. And then they end up building in vain. And most people actually truly believe they end up building themselves other jobs instead of businesses where they can build scalable passive residual income. So we really want to help people understand that you want to start with the end in mind, and then you reverse engineer your goal to get started from where you are now. So you're starting from the end and creating from the inside out. So creating from the energy and the mindset of the goal already achieved instead of creating from current or past circumstances and results, because that just gets us more of the same.
Yeah. And when someone's kind of I know you take them through kind of a mindset, self-image transformation. What is that process usually like?
So we look at each area of our life and what's not working. And then we decide what we would prefer. And then you're going to take that big, hairy, audacious goal and you're going to create a vision for it. So what does that look like to have it already achieved? And then you have to ask yourself, am I being that person with the goal achieved? Would I take this action? Would I take this thought? Would I do this thing if I already had my goal achieved? If not, then I'm not being my ideal self. And my thoughts, feelings, and actions are only going to create more of the same and less in creating from the goal achieved. So if we look at human conditioning and behavior, Psycho-Cybernetics is a great book by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. And he explains that we have really two personalities, right? One we project to the world and then our own internal one. And often that internal one, that self-concept is our glass ceiling. So we can only grow in our lives and our business as big as our self-concept. And if we understand that before the age of 7, you're basically a blank slate and you are who you are because of your environment and conditioning. And if you would like to be somebody different and have something different, you must go back and change that. So we really work on that self-concept. And so we actually write a self-concept script of who we're being with our goal achieved. And then we use auto-suggestion. So you can use hypnosis or auto-suggestion to rewrite paradigms. Some people call them paradigms, some call them conditioning, your personality, different ways to look at it. But in order to rewrite that, you can have an emotional impact that can have you make a big change, but you're not looking to lose $1 million to make a big change, right? You can use that auto-suggestion first. And auto-suggestion is a spaced repetition of an idea or thought over time. And so when we write that self-concept and then we listen to it multiple times a day, as Napoleon Hill suggests in the book, Think and Grow Rich, then we can actually start to rewrite our paradigms and our conditioning and our self-concept. And we can truly step into the person we're meant to be and get out of our own way.
Yeah, I think the inevitable outcome of that, I mean, when you're truly aligned with like who you are, what you do, your expertise in the world, the impact that you are meant to bring. I mean, that's an attractive personality trait. Like people feel it. People there's just, even without getting too woo-woo in it, like it's just, it's, and we don't have to get too esoteric on what attraction is. It's just a good personality. When people feel that in somebody else, they're like, look, I don't even know what it is that you do. All I know is that I want to be around it. It's not about being overly, saccharine, it's a knowingness. And that knowingness just tends to attract people that want to get on board the train.
On board the growth and the human potential train, where people actually want to reach their full potential, because most of us are living average and mundane and playing it safe. And that's really not going to give us a life we love and deserve.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So, Heather, who do you typically work with? Like what kinds of business owners?
Yeah, so my favorite thing is it's more of a psychosocial. So it's actually more of an awareness. So I'm looking to work with and love working with, and my clients are all conscious entrepreneurs. And they're all looking to have a positive impact on this world and leave a legacy of love so that we can truly have peace and heaven on earth for the highest good of all. Because in this moment in time, we could help every single child. Over 300,000 children die a day of starvation and dirty drinking water. And as a collective human being team, we could solve this, and we just don't. So it's really helping the transfer of money into the hands of the people who are going to make a difference in this world. And so that's what I'm up to. That's my mission. And that's what I'm looking to work with.
Yeah. Excellent. What kind of businesses do your clients run? Like what do they do? Or what industries, what size of businesses, that sort of thing?
Yeah. So we have all kinds. We have people who have ideas and passions that they want to turn their purpose into a business. And we have people who have brick and mortars who are learning how to build multiple streams of income and expand those brick and mortars and make them recession and government proof. We have people who have one-on-one coaching, and they've learned that they've built themselves another business and not a model that builds scalable residual income. So we teach people how to scale, whether it's in their coaching business or in another business. It's being able to take their skill set and put it into something that will help them serve many, have a large impact, and also give them their time and financial freedom that they deserve.
Yeah. So one thing that you're a big believer in is, again, kind of our personal wellness, our physical wellness, what we're feeding ourselves. Can you talk about the interplay of that and ultimately our business performance?
100%. So if you don't feel good, you're not going to do great things, and you're only going to show up at 25% of your best quality of work. And even if you ask the millionaires and billionaires, who are ill, they would give up all their money to have their health back.
Mm-hmm.
And people used to ask me, like, how do you do in a day or in a week or in 90 days, what most people couldn't even do in a year? And it's because of the high performance habits and taking care of yourself inside and out. So we use, nootropics, supplementation for brain and performance function. And then we truly look at ourselves as a whole. So if digestion is off and the gut is off, then your nutrient absorption is off, which means your cognitive function is off.
Oh, yeah.
So we really do want to help truly from the inside out. And I was speaking to a new entrepreneur this morning that I'm going to be starting to work with. And her biggest thing that she wants to work on is her health, because if she's not feeling good, she can't perform the way she wants to in her business. And so I know, as somebody who's dealt with health issues their entire life and has also been an entrepreneur for over a decade, the impact of not having that health, and then the impact of being able to master my health and put myself first and fill my cup and heal myself from the inside out, so that I can actually flow into all the other areas of my life as my best self and performing at a high performer.
Mm. One thing that I know that you help a lot of your clients with is accountability. So, I mean, in a perfect world, right, is we know where we want to go, then we kind of break it down and reverse engineer it. And they're like, okay, well, this is just what it's going to take, right? So if I want to learn Chinese, for example, it's probably just going to take me, 30 minutes of practicing 100 times, and that will help. That's going to get me to a good position. So something like that. So we break down the big goals, the long-term goals, into our daily activity goals. But do you have any tricks of like how to keep us doing the thing? Maybe it's like going to the gym. How can we, when we don't want to, or when we're like, it's not a big deal if I don't go today, right? Which is, if you read Atomic Habits,
yes, I love that book.
Great, which is one of the best. I think that's the best book I've read this year is Atomic Habits. Just absolutely fantastic. But yeah, what are some tricks or hacks that we could use to help us do those daily activity goals without getting bored, getting, feeling like there's no consequence to doing it or not doing it?
Yeah, and another great book is The Slight Edge, and it talks about habits as well.
Jeff Olson. Wow.
Yes, one of my favorite books. It's actually the first book everyone in our program reads.
Wow.
Because,
yep.
Yeah, it's the little mundane things that we do over time, right? It's not going to the gym one time to get the results. It's actually that continuous, persistent effort over time that gives you the results. And so for the accountability, that's why I created a habit tracker. So you can grab the free customizable success habit tracker at ownitempire.com and download it and make it for yourself. And Robert Kiyosaki is the one who said, whatever we track improves. So we put everything on there, from our business habits to our health habits, to our personal development habits, to writing gratitude daily, to meditating, to moving 2 to 3 times a day. And mindful movement could be walks. It doesn't have to be CrossFit, right? It's just that we used to always move all day long, and now we sit for the majority of the time, right? So it's implementing those regular movement breaks, because if you're feeling tired, you need to increase the oxygenation to your brain. And so you got to get moving. Right. And then I also track that we eat a whole food diet. And so that also goes on the habit tracker. So anything that is processed or man-made, has added chemicals and things that is going to overload our body. And then we have a toxic threat load, and that also decreases our performance and increases disease. So we track eating a whole food diet. We track research and development, sales, marketing, all those things. So actually using a habit tracker, I've been doing it for over 3 years, if not longer. And I know that when I do and do not use the habit tracker, my performance is massively different. And sometimes we're also so hard on ourselves that we think we aren't doing a lot. And when we start doing a habit tracker, we realize how awesome we are and how much we're actually doing. And we stop beating ourselves up. And then our self-concept improves, and we end up taking more action. And we start to get to know ourselves as someone who does what they say they're going to do, the way it's meant to be done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
belief about yourself is so important. Am I the kind of person that brushes my teeth every night? Yes or no? If I am, and I believe that about myself, chances are I'm going to brush my teeth every night. Am I and one thing that I remember I experienced is becoming a runner. So I used to be a heavy dude, lost some weight, started running. And what I had heard is that, if you start running for, I don't want to say it was like 4 months or something like that, and where you run pretty consistently, chances are you're going to be you will run your whole life. Like you'll make that just a part, maybe not at that level of consistency, but you'll always see yourself as a runner. And and that self-talk is so important, to say, I am an athlete. I am, someone who is, committed to the best version of myself physically. Those beliefs really set that sail in my experience.
Yeah, that's that self-concept, right? Anything that follows I am is creating ourselves.
Yeah. What are some ways that we can kind of change the programming in our head about like who we are?
Absolutely. So one is the auto suggestion, right? So we do reframing, and you can look at each area of your life that's not working, and all that you've been doing for too long is giving yourself a command in
Mm.
that area. So if it's, you think I'm overweight, and that's your saying and your self concept, it's now I am perfect health. I'm my ideal body weight. Right. And you start focusing on that and you repeat that. So the study of epigenetics proves that every single thought has a physiological response. And Dr. Bruce Lipton spent over 20 years proving this as a
Mm.
science. So we can heal our body. And if you really want to dive deeper into that, you can check out the Wim Hof method. And he is even proven he was ejected by E. coli in under 10 minutes, removed it from his body fully through breath and mind work. And he's been able to replicate that. It was done in a hospital, fully under supervision. And he's been able to replicate that with other people as well. So if we actually start to dive into understanding the power of the mind and the power of thought, we will understand that every single thought is a choice and every single thought is a command to ourselves. So we need to start being an observer of our thoughts so that we can start reframing them and saying to ourselves the things that we actually desire, because most of the time we spend our thoughts and energy and imagination on what's not working.
Wow. I've heard the Wim Hof method before. For someone who doesn't know what it is, can you just explain it real quick?
Yeah, so it's a deep breathing technique that increases the oxygen throughout your body. So he climbs mountains in his swimming trunks and bare feet. He like all the things, and he
Crazy.
teaches it to other people as well. And the Goop Lab by Gwyneth Paltrow on Netflix interviews him and does a great episode on that. If anyone wants to check that out. But it's a deep breathing technique to help increase the oxygenation. And he even teaches a breathing one to help increase the DMT in the body, which is really help people increase their awareness and reach a different level. And the contrast showers, right? We'll be able to do things that we weren't able to do. I'll put in quotations before, but it's that mindfulness technique and that breathing technique that allows us to do push beyond what we thought are our current boundaries.
I like it. All right. So you have a coaching mastermind, Own It Mastermind. Can you explain like how that works and how you engage with folks in that manner?
Absolutely. So it's a group coaching program for conscious entrepreneurs. And I implemented the mastermind component because after reading the book Think and Grow Rich and studying Thinking into Results with Bob Proctor and Danielle Amos, it was an incredible impact on my life. I started my own mastermind. And from there, this mastermind program was born. And so when two or more people come together, they generate a third energy, a third brain, more ideas, things you wouldn't be able to create on your own. And so that's why we have a mastermind. But we've changed the mastermind slightly to really have an accountability component so that they're actually meeting twice a month, and you go in, people help you. You go in with whatever you're struggling with. You have the whole mastermind and you stay with them for the year, and they all mastermind around your needs and see you with your vision achieved. And then they hold you accountable. So we have a coach that runs it and tracks it all. And so 2 weeks later, you have to commit to something and show up with that done. And that accountability coach they meet with separately every month as well. So we're really huge on having that mastermind and accountability, but then we have a full live live coaching and self-study as well, because we want to be able to have a high touch for everyone to be able to access us when needed. But we really do it in all areas, so that it is the skill set, the mindset, and the high performance habits. So we allow people to show up on our live coaching calls, whether it's a life issue, a business issue, a self-concept issue, whatever it is, because if we have a block in one area of our life, it affects all areas of our life, including our business. So we are really, we're there to support them each day, whether it's with tech. And we have other incredible coaches as well that have, worked with Fortune 500 companies who have helped people build multiple 7-figure systems. And we're really a full-rounded, full approach from, I am a neuroanatomy trainer. So we do neuroanatomy movement sessions, mindfulness, breath work, and meditation sessions, to the full business sessions, to being able to show up and just ask for whatever you need. We've got you. And we really just want to support them in all areas of their life through and through.
Yeah. This is all found at ownitempire.com. When someone goes there, Heather, what would you recommend they click on? Where do they engage? Where do they start with you?
Yeah, you can go ahead and go right to click over onto the mastermind there and check more of it out there. But go ahead and book a free vision mapping or strategy call with me, and we can map out if the program is a fit for you, if we can help you achieve your goal over that year. We're always looking for new people who are ready to own it with us.
Nice. All right. Heather Chapman, again, your website, ownitempire.com. Heather, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure.